Hi there, I'm immigration attorney Elizabeth Ricci with Rambana and Ricci Immigration Attorneys, and I am going to briefly talk about the importance of filing for an initial DACA, filing a DACA renewal, or making a request for a DACA-related travel document. And the reason why this is so important is that a federal judge in Texas just heard on December 22nd a case that could end DACA. So right now, while we're awaiting the decision, you still can file for an initial DACA, even if you've never filed for DACA before. You can still file for your renewal, and you can still make a request for a DACA-related travel document if you already have DACA. So let me talk real quickly. What does a renewal entail? Well, if you're approved for your renewal, then you would get your renewal for the 2 full years. If you are eligible for an initial DACA, because you entered the U.S. before you were 15, you are currently in high school or doing a GED or attending qualifying English classes, or you've already graduated from high school or finished your GED, you don't have a serious criminal history, you were born after June 15th, 1982, and you've permanently and continuously resided in the U.S. since June 15th, 2007, all of those, then you can file for that initial DACA. DACA is not a green card, it's not permanent residency, it's not citizenship. DACA is basically a temporary reprieve from deportation, and it does allow for a work authorization. The beauty of a travel document for DACA is that if you entered your last entry without inspection or illegally, and you travel outside of the U.S. and you come back in legally with that DACA travel document, then the doors are wide open for you in the future. Because for so many people, it's that undocumented entry that causes so many problems with adjusting, with getting that green card. Because generally speaking, if you enter illegally, you have very, very few options to legalize within the country. Most people have to leave the country and adjust abroad. And if they've been here for more than 1 year without authorization, generally they are subject to a 10-year re-entry bar. And if they have multiple entries, they are not eligible for any kind of a waiver. So the travel document is an excellent cure for that. Contrary to what a lot of people believe, the travel document does not require an emergency. I'm going to repeat, the travel document does not require an emergency. To get a DACA-related travel document, you do need to have a legitimate reason that's humanitarian, educational, or employment-based, and have documentation for that reason. For example, a humanitarian reason might be to visit an elderly grandparent. If you have an elderly grandparent you haven't seen in many years, I suggest including a doctor's letter stating that grandparent's age, what their medical conditions are, a heartfelt letter from yourself, plus your birth certificate and your parents' birth certificate showing that that grandparent is indeed your grandparent. Another reason might be that you've inherited property or have some kind of a court case abroad that you need to attend to. An employment-based reason might be to inspect a factory or to perform interviews or go to some type of conference. An education-based reason might be to attend a course, to perform some type of an interview, or perhaps even give some type of dissertation. Those are the types of reasons that might work. Again, they're humanitarian, education, or employment-based. They do have to be documented. They don't have to be an emergency. Regardless, now is the time to file, because if that judge in Texas who had that hearing on the 22nd of December decides to end DACA, the window will close unless or until there's a new executive order or Congress finally takes action to fix our broken immigration system. But in the meantime, if that judge ends DACA, there will be some wait. We don't know what that wait will be before there's another opportunity like this. So before that decision comes, if it's a negative decision, then we'll have some waiting game. Obviously, if it's a positive decision, you file sooner rather than later and no harm done. But now is the time to file while that opportunity still exists. I strongly encourage, if you haven't already renewed your DACA, do so now. If you qualify as an initial DACA, file. And if you already have DACA, request a travel document, the opportunities will be available to you to adjust domestically in the future. Again, my name is Elizabeth Ricci. I'm with Rambana and Ricci Immigration Attorneys, wishing you happy holidays and encouraging you to go ahead and file now for your DACAs. Thank you.